Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm taking a look at the newest Free Comic Book Day Doctor Who issue, being 2017 of course. I think of this recording, I think I've got the 2015 and 16 one. Unfortunately though, for those of you who are curious, I haven't reviewed those as I haven't read those ones. But yeah, I really like the cover of this one. Obviously, you've got the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctor, and then it says 4 Doctors, one astonishing new story. Titan Comics there, number 1, New Adventures with 4 Doctors, 2017, Free Comic Book Day, so I got this free, surprisingly enough, on Comic Book Day. On the back, you have advertisement for Sherlock Holmes, the manga, and then Torchwood. Then you've got advertisement for Pirates of the Caribbean for some strange reason. The writer, the artist, colorist, letterist, and so on. Well, I don't know if this writer's written for Doctor Who before or any of the Titan comic book stuff, so yeah. Then you've got a massive thing about the Reader's Guide, all the 12th Doctor stuff, almost the 12th Doctor stuff, same with the 11th, 10th, and then you got my amazing 9th Doctor, and then you've got, you know, some of the other stuff, like the 3rd Doctor stuff, 4th, the 4 Doctors thing, that weird Cyberman thing that I never picked up, and then the 8th Doctor thing, the 8th Doctor series as well. Then you got an advertisement for a bunch of Doctor Who merchandise at the BBC shop. On the front, or in the front bit, you've kind of got the Titan Comics website, Twitter and Facebook, so you can go check those out to give them feedback. You've got a bio on the Doctor, Bill, the TARDIS, and who the Doctor is again for some weird reason. Interestingly enough, to my very limited knowledge, I seem to be saying that a lot these days, but sorry, to my limited knowledge, I think this might be the first sort of comic book with Bill in it. I mean, then again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming obviously with Doctor Who magazine, with the DWM comic strips, she's in those now, and that, so, but I mean, Titan comic wise, this might be the first outing with her, maybe it's not, maybe with the 3rd season of the 12th Doctor one, they've decided to have Bill in those instead of obviously Clara, as it would make more sense, seeing as Bill is obviously the newest companion and or current companion. I love the art style with the 12th Doctor one. It looks very photorealistic. Love the art style. I love the fob watch being introduced again, and that I don't mind the 9th Doctor's art style either, and the way that all the Doctors are in this story is very effective and very good. 10th Doctor's art style and 11th I'm not keen on at all, and I feel like we only really get a glimpse of the 9th, 10th and 11th Doctor. I think the point of focus would probably be the 12th and Bill, as they start off the story. They're narrating the sort of rest of the story, even when we see the 9th, 10th and 11th Doctor, and then it ends with them. So, it's a very simplistic story, but I think it kind of has to be, because I'm assuming when the people who made this issue made it, they were intending it for, okay, let's imagine you've never watched, listened, or read anything on Doctor Who, and you're completely new, you know, to Doctor Who. This is the first thing you're ever exposed to, you know, and I think it does a decent job of sort of saying, oh look, here's this Doctor guy who has had different faces before. This is the 9th, this is the 10th and 11th and 12th. Granted, they don't number them, so I think that'd be kind of confusing, I guess, from my perspective. Oh, not from my perspective, from the perspective of someone who's never watched this show before and or seen any of the show before, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, as I say, I really do like the art style with the 12th Doctor, but as I say, it doesn't last because obviously the art style changes with the other Doctors and that. And is as I say, a very simplistic story, but it also kind of feels kind of timey-wimey and a bit Stephen Moffat-y in that respect, but not too timey-wimey. I think it's challenging to say. It does try and have a bit of substance and a bit of depth, because obviously it's like it's wanting to dip its toes into something substantial and a bit complex, because I think here it is trying to tell you, okay, this is what you would be exposed to if you watch Doctor Who, and if you really got into Doctor Who, this is the sort of more, potentially the more complex stuff, but by the same token, it doesn't want to just alienate people and throw you in at the deep end, and I guess it's finding that balance, and this kind of does in some respect, but in the sense that it does feel like sort of 50-50, it just sort of feels sort of in the middle. It feels like, it could be more complex, but it could be a hell of a lot more simple. And that, granted, it's only the one issue, so, they've only really got one single Doctor Who comic book issue to, tell one story that somehow has the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctor all in it in some sort of way. And it needs to be, coherent, of course, and narratively structured in a way where it makes sense to the reader at hand. And have they done that? Yes. And so if you can pick this one up and find it anywhere for free, I would recommend picking it up, as it's a brilliant introduction to Doctor Who overall. And it's not a brilliant sort of overall introduction to Doctor Who, but I think it would be a good introduction to the Doctor Who Titan comic range. I think if you read this, then I think you could easily then say, I don't know, read the first issue of the 9th Doctor, or 10th, 11th, or 12th Doctor, do you know what I mean, and go from there. This is a really good springing off point, or jumping on point and jumping on board type thing, and springboarding off this one even. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, and subscribe.